Welcome to the LearnRite Biology, level of organization of life. You know, I always lay emphasis and stress and connect you in a topic that we're doing. Let's look at some questions. Straight to the point. Objective test phase. Objective test phase. Why is the epidermis of a leaf considered an example of a tissue? Why is the epidermis of a leaf considered an example of a tissue? The cells A have similar structure and function. B have similar structure but different functions. B is out. C allow water to enter them by osmosis. D are covered by waxy cuticle. It's true they are covered by waxy cuticle, but that's not the reason. You know what a tissue is. So A is the answer. Next question. A group of palisade cells can be termed A, an organ, B, a system, C, an organism, D, a tissue. Don't forget, a leaf is an organ. The shoot is a system. The whole plant is an organism. But the leaf is made up of epidermis. Palisade tissue, made up of palisade cells. The mesophyll, we have two layers, palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll. I hope you understand that. So the answer is a tissue, a group of palisade cells. One palisade cell is cell. One palisade cell is a cell. But palisade cells is a tissue. So group of palisade cells and epidermal cells. Palisade cells, epidermal cells, xylem cells will form an organ because that's the leaf. Fine. Next question. Which of these has the most complex level of organization? A, euglena. B, hydra. C, heart. D, virus. We know hydra is an organism, a living thing. Euglena is an organism, unicellular organism. Virus is there. The heart. The heart is an organ. So it's the most complex. The heart is an organ. Exactly. So it's the most complex. The hydra is a tissue. The climax of the levels of cellular organization is the climax. A, cell. B, organ. C, system. D, tissue. I hope you understand climax. The peak of everything. We are celebrating an anniversary in your school. You started preparation. You have to tell your parents. Sometimes they bill you and give you anniversary wear. Then that week, you start preparation. You clean the compound nicely. The school choir, we're practicing. The cadet. The last days to the anniversary, there will not be classes. Then that night, there will be special program. Special entertainment. The drama group will display. School choir will sing. Then the D-Day, the day itself, maybe the president will come. All students will arrive. Your parents will come. And that's the peak. That's the peak. The moment you have been waiting for. That's the climax. Even though festivities, even though the anniversary, maybe 1 week's program, that last day. Sometimes if last day is Sunday, the climax is likely to be Saturday. If that's the day the debate is organized. So that's the climax. Climax. So the climax, the level of organization. When did you stop this thing that we are talking about cell, tissue, organ? We stop at the organism. We stop at organism. So that's the climax. I hope we are there. So the answer is The climax of the level of cellular organization. Cell, organ, system, tissue. So the climax here is system. Next one. The major difference between the guard cells of the stoma and the cells of the muscle is that guard cells of the stoma. Guard cell is a specialized epidermis cell that encloses the stoma, that pores in the epidermis of the leaf or green stem for the purpose of gaseous exchange. We have a lot of epidermis cells, I told you. Ordinary epidermis cells do not have chloroplasts with chlorophyll, so that they don't interfere with penetration of sunlight to the mesophyll. But they are specialized epidermis cells. In fact, they have chlorophyll anyway. So the special name for them is guard cells. They are bean-shaped, kidney-shaped. And so what? They are plant cells. The muscle cell is an animal cell. So start thinking of cellulose, start thinking of vacuole, large vacuole. Start thinking of presence of chloroplasts. The major difference between the guard cells of the stoma and the cells of the muscle is that A, muscle cells may store glycogen. It's true. B, muscle cells do not contract. It's not true. C, guard cells are bean-shaped. They are bean-shaped, all right. But it's not our business here. It has nothing to do with difference between plant and animal cells. D, guard cells contain glycogen. So the answer is A. Next one. In which part of the leaf of flowering plants are chloroplasts least likely to occur? A, epidermis cells excluding guard cells. Epidermis cells excluding guard cells. B, epidermis cells including guard cells. No, we have chloroplasts in guard cells. So that's not the answer. C, palisade mesophyll cells. No, that is the hometown of chloroplast. D, spongy mesophyll cells. There are chloroplasts there. So the answer is epidermis cells excluding guard cells. Epidermis cells excluding guard cells. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the next question. Yeah. Let's look at the next question. Which of the following statements is correct about organs? A, they are composed of specialized cells. B, they perform a certain overall function. C, they are not found in plants. It is not true. D, unicellular organisms have few organs. They don't have organs at all. So they are composed of specialized cells. They perform a certain overall function. So B is the answer. Next one. Which of the following sequences of organisms show an advancement of development from the simplest to the complex? A, hydra to amoeba, then to goat. B, goat to amoeba, goat to hydra, then amoeba. C, goat to amoeba and hydra. D, amoeba, hydra, goat. Who are the following sequences of organisms show an advancement of development from the simplest to the complex? So it is increasing complexity, not decreasing. So hydra, amoeba, and goat is not correct. Because hydra is a tissue, amoeba is a cell. Goat is more complex than hydra, so B is wrong. C, goat, then followed by amoeba, is wrong. So D, amoeba is a cell, hydra is a tissue, goat is a multicellular organism. So D is the answer. Next one. Which of the following organisms have the highest surface area to volume ratio? A, man. B, earthworm. C, amoeba. D, grasshopper. So amoeba is the answer. Why? Because the cell is exposed to the environment on all sides. Direct contact with the environment. The cell making up the whole organism is exposed to the environment on all sides. Next one. The climax of the levels of cellular organization in a cellular organism is the underlying unicellular organism. A. System. B. Organism. C. Cell. D. Tissue. We all know that the climax of the level of organization, cellular organization, a living thing is the system or is the organism. Is the organism. But this one is about unicellular organism. So the answer is a cell. You have to read biology objective very well. Open your eyes and read again and again before you take the answer. Next one. Which of the following organisms is the most specialized? A. Paramecium. B. Amoeba. C. Spirogyra. D. Rhizopus. We said there is a specialization in complexity. So Rhizopus is the answer. It's the most complex organism there. Number one is A is unicellular. B is unicellular. C is also unicellular. So D is the answer. Which of the following cells is the most specialized? A. Paramecium. B. Amoeba. C. Guard cell. D. Meristematic cell. Paramecium and amoeba, they are jacks of all trades. No specialization. They can do everything to survive as a living thing. They can perform all life activities. But guard cells, the guard cell is specialized. The cell from multicellular organism. Meristematic cell is also from multicellular organism, plant cell, but it can only divide. It's not specialized to perform a particular function apart from cell division. So guard cell is a permanent cell that has undergone specialization, referred to as differentiation, which means there's undergone necessary modification in shape. For instance, it looks kidney shape, bean shape, so that when it loses water, because it's kidney shape, the two are found at a particular position. There's a gap between them. But when they are fully stretched, the gap is closed. I hope it's clear. So, guard cells specialized to control opening and closure of stoma. Which of the following cells is the most complex? Most complex. A. Paramecium. B. Spore of Rhizopus. That's one cell. C. Guard cell. D. Meristematic cell. Paramecium is most complex. Is it a cell? Because the following cells is the most complex. Paramecium. Why? Because it is equipped to perform all life activities. All life activities. Your friend who will tell you a story today, tomorrow another one. Yesterday he had an uncle in the US. Today he has an auntie. He didn't have an uncle. He's a complex guy because you don't understand him. You don't know which is which. It's complex. But the one who tells you the truth, one thing, is simple to understand. So complex. And Paramecium, you can do everything. The next one. The main similarity between unicellular organisms is that both A. perform all life activities. B. exist as filaments. C. are plants. No. D. exist as colonies. You see a main similarity between all unicellular organisms? The similarity is that A. they perform all life activities. That is complexity in terms of the cellular consideration. They are complex. The cell is complex. Can perform all life activities. But in terms of structure, they are simple. So structurally, they are simple. But physiologically, they are complex. Physiological here means what they can do. They are complex. Last question in this lesson. Diffusion is most effective in living organisms when the surface area is A. large and the thickness is also large? No. B, when the surface is small while the thickness is large? No. C, when the surface area is large while the thickness is small? D, when the surface is the same as the thickness? Surface area to volume ratio. Surface area top, then volume below. Surface area to volume ratio. So the surface area to be larger, relatively larger than the thickness. This is what we mean by large surface area. So C is the answer. C is the answer. Thank you. Let us use the next lesson to crown our questions on level of organization of life. Bye-bye.